Greetings. Today the moon goes into Capricorn at 5:04 a.m. Pacific time. That moon will head into a square with Neptune and Saturn in Aries today as Mars hits its final degree in Pisces, getting ready to move into Aries on Thursday. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro vibe for Wednesday, April 8th. Today, that Capricorn moon takes us into more of the energy of structures, systems, foundations, how things are built, how we orient ourselves. And so right now we're in the midst of these Aries changes that I've been talking about. And so tomorrow Mars goes into Aries, ramping up like the gate opens so that things that have been ready to move, really kind of chomping at the bit to get moving, will suddenly have a direction to go and the fuel to fuel them as they go forward. So that includes ourselves. And so what's been happening is that we've had this pressure. We've been feeling this pressure to move, to act, to do something, to make something work, to fix it, right? But still not really that clarity of how, not really the sense of direction that we are going to have once Mars goes into Aries, and then even more once Mercury also follows Mars into Aries. So the Mercury piece will bring the ability to communicate and have a clear sense of what we want to communicate and how to communicate it, that directness of voice, of speaking, of the things we need to say coming out, right? That is very Aries. Mercury in Aries is very direct communication. Mercury in Pisces, on the other hand, which is where Mercury is right now, is a little nebulous. It's communication and information that is sort of surrounded by fog and confusion. It is also very nonverbal. So we have that not so direct, but very indirect. The communication that happens through body language, through implications, through intuition, right? Kind of your ability to read between the lines or read, what someone is saying that they're not saying with their words. Those are the kinds of things we see with Mercury in Pisces. But on April 14th, Mercury will enter Aries, and that shifts the communication. But right now we're talking about Mars, and Mars going into Aries on Thursday, April 9th, will bring the movement that is, that Mars drive that will be now having less fog, less nebulousness, less abstract, and much more clear, focused, and direct. So that's why when things start to move, they're going to move decisively. So we want to make sure that we are clear about what matters in that bigger picture. As I've been saying, the connection to your heart, to what brings meaning to your life, to your big why, to the sense of purpose and the higher wisdom and values that guide you in that bigger picture. If you are in alignment with those, then the Aries can propel you in the right direction. So that's what we want to think about. The moon, though, today in Capricorn brings a very practical, structural focus to the mood of the day, and things that I think we're going to be noticing really where the limitations are of old systems and structures, where we really cannot rely on what has held us up in the past. Both, again, all of these energies are on a personal level as well as happening in the collective, in the news headlines, in the things people are talking about. So that it's the energy, it's the vibe we are moving through, can show up in different ways, right? So with Capricorn, I think we're going to be seeing how the systems and structures and ways of operating and ways of orienting ourselves in the past are going to be very limited. We're going to feel where those limitations are, and we're going to feel the Aries energy that is pushing us to come up with new ones, new systems, new structures, new ways of operating and orienting ourselves. And that Capricorn sense of structure and boundaries and what's important and true and right, where our backbone is, where we need to be strong, where we need to trust ourselves and our own wisdom and truth. So we're going to need to find that backbone in new ways. In other words, not maybe what has defined us in the past, but what is going to define us in the future. And again, comes back to what direction you're pointed in when this fuel comes in to propel you forward. So really staying connected to that and noticing, and you might notice in your life where the ways you used to do things just don't work anymore, and having to lean into, put your weight on, trust new ways of doing things that you may not be fully confident in yet, but you really have to start trying. And that energy, that Aries energy of new beginnings, says you will not learn until you put your weight on it and you find out what's going to happen. So take that risk, lean into what feels right. And you'll find out, right? Whether you can trust it or not. If you can't trust it, then take a step back, reassess, figure it out, right? And take a new step. That's the Aries way. The Aries way wants you to try and try again, fail, fall down, make mistakes, and get messy in the process. The Capricorn energy wants you to find where your foundations are. What is the system? What is the structure that's going to hold you? And so we have that discomfort of the old ways not working so much and having to find or create or trust new ones. So those are my thoughts for today. Thank you for being here, and I hope you can join me for my upcoming chart interpretation workshop. Perfect for beginners, perfect for intermediate level, to deepen your own knowledge of your chart, and do it in a fun group setting where we can see each other's charts and how different things show up, what stands out, right, in different charts. And so it's so fun to come together as a group and do that. And I will be leading you through seeing how to deepen your knowledge of your chart, especially from an evolutionary perspective, which shows you what's in your chart, what is the opportunity there, what is your healing path, how can you further yourself along your own evolutionary path. In other words, what it is you are here in this life to do. So we will be looking at the chart from that perspective. And if you're intermediate level or have a little bit of astrology background, you will see your chart in new ways. You will see things in your chart that you maybe couldn't see or haven't noticed before. If you're a brand new beginner, you'll get those beginning ability to see the things that jump out in your chart. So April 16th is the chart interpretation workshop. The link is in the description for this video. You can learn all about it at transformationalastrology.com, which is, I've been posting some great content over there. So sign up for a free or paid account at transformationalastrology.com to stay on top of everything that is going on and have the tools you need to navigate it in the best ways possible. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Marina Orms, and I appreciate your subscribing to this YouTube channel. If you are enjoying these videos, I'm here every day with astrology for unshakable self-care. I will see you next time.